Coding made easy.
So what's up everybody, and welcome to your next C# tutorial, and we're going to be continuing learning some more about some if statements. This is the way we structure our code, but I want to show you a different way to actually to execute this code. So what we're going to do is we're going to flip this, right? So now I'm going to keep this down here for reference. Now there's one thing I haven't taught you guys yet, and I haven't taught you about comments. So comments, if you do two forward slashes, it allows you to write anything you want. So you can write notes for why you did something, or yeah, so you can, or like write notes for the next user that's going to be using your code, or notes for yourself. And this code will be ignored when it compiles. So this is just to keep notes and stuff like that. So that is just a single line comment. And right here we have a block comment, so it's a forward slash, then we have the asterisk, and then after we do the asterisk and then the forward slash, and that creates a comment block. So anything within these the forward slash and the asterisk will be commented out, so therefore it won't get executed by code. So we're going to use this here, keep this as a reminder for ourselves. And so now we're going to say if grade, we're going to flip this around. So we're going to say if our grade is less than 100. Sorry about that. Instead of doing that, we're going to say if grade is greater than 80. So we're going to say console write line, you got an A. And we can put the constraints in there, but we'll say anything over 80 is an A, okay? And next we're going to say if grade is should be greater or equal to, greater than or equal to 70, then we're going to do console write line, you got a B. If grade greater than or equal to 60, console write line, got a C. If greater than or equal to 50, you got a D. And if grade is less than 50, console write line, you got a D. AF, sorry. So, and we have our console line at the bottom. So I want you guys to pause the video and predict, you know what, we're going to run this. So I'm going to put in the value 85. Now before I click enter, I want you to pause the video, sorry, and predict the output. And you can let me know in the comment section below if you got the output right. Okay, so now that you're back, we're going to see what the output is. So as you can see, it says you got an A, you got a B, you got a C, and you got a D. Now, why did that happen? Well, let's look at our if statements. So we put in the value 85. Is 85 greater than or equal to 80? Yep. So we're going to execute this. A. Is 85 greater than or equal to 70? Yes. Is it greater than or equal to 60? Yes. Is it greater than or equal to 50? Yes. So it's going to print that all. And obviously grade is not less than 50, so it's not going to print you got an F. So it printed all of these. So this method, this way we changed it to, is flawed. So how do we actually make this method work? Well, simple. We use what is called else if. So what we're going to do is we're going to use else if and else, but we'll use else if first. So what we're going to do is put else if under these if statements. And what else if essentially does is group if statements together. And we'll do else if. So this essentially groups these if statements together. So basically what will happen is if any of these ends up being true, so if this ends up being true or this ends up being true, it ignores the rest of the if statements. So if we enter the grade 85 what will happen is it'll say, is 85 greater than or equal to 80? Yes, it is. It's going to execute this. So since these all are linked to this one if statement, because else if statements have to be linked to an if statement, so if statement has to be on top and everything else is linked together. So if this is true, then because these are all linked, it says, okay, well, we already got our value. We don't need to check these anymore. So let's continue with our program. So then if we get here and we find out this value is true, right? It says, oh, these are all linked. We don't need to check for these anymore. So let's continue with our program. So just to prove that I know what I'm actually talking about, let's put the value 85. As you can see, it says you got an A. Now let's run this again. Let's put the value 65. So 65 is not greater than or equal to 80. It's not greater than or equal to 70, but it is greater than or equal to 60. So it says you got a C. And then it says, okay, well, since these are linked, we don't have to check these anymore. And so let's exit. Now, one thing that is another thing about the if statements is we can just put plain else. So basically the else says if all else fails, let's run this. So we can say, okay, well, if it's not greater than or equal to 70, it's not greater than or equal to, not greater than or equal to 80, same with 70, same with 60, same with 50, then it must mean that you got an F, right? So if all else fails, let's run this no matter what. Right, so we don't have to have a condition like we did before. We'll just say if all else fails. So let's put the value 45. So it's not greater than or equal to 80, not greater than or equal to 70, not greater than or equal to 60, not greater than or equal to 50. So all of them failed. So let's just execute whatever is in here. So that's essentially how the if and else statement work. Now, one more thing that I'm going to show you about if statements, or most statements for that matter, which require braces. If you only execute one thing underneath the statement, then you don't necessarily need the braces. Do I recommend the braces? Yes, I do, for code readability. But if you only and for to avoid errors. But if you're only executing one statement underneath it, you can remove the braces. And so the braces mean, when you remove the braces, it says, okay, I'm only going to execute the one thing right below it, and that's it. So this would still work the same way that it should. But just to show you something, which the reason why I wouldn't recommend this is because, let's say I put console write line, you got an A, I want to say you got an A, so you are awesome. Well, essentially, we get this unexpected token. The reason why is because the if has to be grouped, the else if has to be grouped with the if. But so in the if statement's mind, since it doesn't have the brace, it knows to execute only the direct statement after. So then this statement isn't actually a part of the if statement. So then because the if statement is done, this else if doesn't know what to be grouped with, so you get an error. But if I were to put the braces there, we would no longer get that error. So keep that in mind. Another thing I'm going to show you is the different operators, the common operators that you can put here. So we learned greater than or equal to, we learned less than or equal to. Now if we want to compare different things to see if they're equal to each other, we put two equal signs, not one equal sign. The one equal sign is an assignment, like right here. It means that this value is going to be set in this variable. The two equal signs means that we're checking to see if they are equal. So that's what that means. Now if we want to check if they're not equal, let me put the exclamation mark. So the exclamation mark means not. So we can say if it's not equal to that value, then we can do it like that. Now we've learned about the ampersand, the and, to check if two sides are both equal. We also have something with the two lines there beside, on my keyboard, they're beside the square brackets on the right, the right square bracket on the right. And this means or. So it says, okay, if this statement is true or this statement is true. So what we could do, Let's just put name, and let's take a string. So we can say if your name, whoa, what's happening? Oh, I spelled it wrong. So if your name is equal to Peter, or, sorry, I still spelled it wrong, or name is equal to Coding Made Easy, then we can write some text. So we can say you are awesome. So what it's gonna do is it's gonna check a statement. It's gonna check this statement right here. Is your name equal to Peter? Yes, your name is equal to Peter. So it's not even gonna check this. This isn't even gonna be checked because it says either or has to be true in order to execute this right here. So then, since this is true, it doesn't need to check this. We already know that one of them is true. So now execute this right there. But let's say our name is equal to CodingMadeEasy. It will check this. It will say, nope, your name is not equal to Peter. So it checks here. Is it equal to CodingMadeEasy? Yes, it's true. So either or has to be true. So since one of them is true, we're going to execute the statement here. And if none of them are true, then we don't execute the statement. So anyways, that's it for this tutorial. Hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to comment, rate, and subscribe, and bye for now.